while we're waiting for that to cook. Thud. We'll see what Lucille thinks about that. Lucille, what do you think about that? No? Okay. Is that your favorite new bed? She's on the prowl. Oh no, she just has to clean herself. That's attractive. You've already won me over inside of me. Don't be surprised if I fall head over feet. I love you for all that you are. I can't help it. It's all your fault. That song is stuck in my head for some reason. I don't know why. I was listening to, it's because on Tidal, there's a streaming music. You can stream music on a platform called Tidal, and I made a playlist on Tidal called Mom Friendly Music. And it's got like Sheryl Crow on it and Genesis and all kinds of stuff. But then after the playlist was done, it recommended it stayed on autoplay. I left it on autoplay, and it came up, and the first song that played after Sheryl Crow was Alanis Morissette, and I'm not a big fan, to be honest with you. She's too edgy. She's too dark. Like, I don't know. She seems like the kind of girl that wouldn't like wash herself, like a French lady that just like doesn't like want to bathe. She just like likes her natural juices, you know. But I think that shit's disgusting because you gotta like wash your ass at least once a day, you know, preferably in the morning, you know. Some people take showers at night so they don't have to, so they can sleep in the morning, and that's fine. But when you sleep, you know, so sometimes you sweat and you can get pretty gross during a night of sleep. So you should really take a shower in the morning. People go to bed without brushing their teeth, and that's pretty gross too. You know, you got to brush your teeth before you go to bed. That's so crucial. So, I think my dad's skiing in Colorado or something like that. He's at Breckenridge. Oh yeah, dude, I went to Breckenridge and it was so fucking chill, man. Yeah, dude, I just went to Breckenridge, man. Nah, my dad's not like that. But, you know, those rich cocksuckers that snowboard and go to Breckenridge, you know? Like all those Denver college people, you know. Yeah, dude, I'm going to Breckenridge. Oh, that's so sweet, bro. I'm going to Breckenridge too. Oh, totally killer, man. Yeah, let's go to Breckenridge. Yeah. I mean, skiing, if I knew how to ski, I'd go skiing, but I don't know how to ski, so. I can play video game. I can play video games and pretend I'm skiing though, so pretty good at doing that. Let's see what we got on the wall here. American flag. That's excellent. That's outstanding. Fantastic. Who else we got? Michael Jordan. Got Michael Jordan hanging up there. Got the 50-inch flat screen. 58-inch flat screen. And we got Mamba chilling over there. Rest in peace, you know. We got Buddha Draft, or Draft Buddha. I think Buddha Draft. I like Buddha Draft better. Everybody needs a Buddha Draft in their house or apartment. If you don't know about Buddha Drafts, you need to educate yourself. Because Buddha Drafts are, they know the way to enlightenment, you know. Got the Xbox down there. Air conditioner. Got the microwave, coffee pot. Nice big shelf up there. Refrigerator, dishwasher, sink, and oven. You know, and it's a small oven, but still gets the job done. It's got 4 burners, you know. See what's over in this closet here. Yeah, gotta rearrange the closet a little bit. Make sure everything fits in there. There's my VR. I gotta charge my VR so I can use it. If you never tried VR, it's pretty fucking amazing. I went to Los Angeles, I went to New York, I went to Tokyo, I went to Paris, I went to Scotland, went to the UK, and there's people that just walk around with 360-degree cameras on their heads or whatever while they're bicycling or whatever. And you can watch 360 VR. You know, that's pretty fucking cool. You know, you can go to Toronto if you want to go to if you don't, you know, if you're sick of America, I guess. Which I don't know how that's even possible, but you know, if for some reason you aren't 100% stoked on America, then you know, you can go to Canada, which is a pretty good place to live too. Nova Scotia's pretty nice. Nova Scotia's about the same temperature as Boston. You know, Boston and Nova Scotia are kind of the same East Coast fishing towns, you know. A lot of good seafood in Nova Scotia. So let's see, who else do we got here? Got Oma chilling with Bella on the swings. I took that picture. Picture credit Tyler Kite. That's gonna be a lifelong memory that both of them will cherish. So thank you, Tyler, for taking that picture. Oh yeah, I'm just glad I was in the right place at the right time, I guess. You know, just in the right place at the right time. Catch a good picture, you know. And up there we got 2 happily married people up there. We got some paper towels. What is that? Pringles? Oh, we got some Pringles. Some disposable cups, plates, forks, Triscuits. Let's see what's in the old refrigerator. Looks like we got some Mountain Dew, Diet Mountain Dew, of course. Low calorie energy drinks from Aldi. I get 12 of those at a time. What else we got in here? We got some hummus, some eggs, a lemon meringue pie. Everybody loves lemon meringue pie. If you don't like lemon meringue pie, you're either a diabetic or there's something wrong with you. If you don't like lemon meringue pie, there's something wrong with you. If you don't like lemon meringue pie, I'm just putting that out there. Like there's literally something wrong with you if you don't like lemon meringue pie. Got some cheese, some whipped cream cheese, some liquor and whores, bologna and mustard over here, some milk, and some breads and bagels up there. Got some stuff in the freezer. Got some egg rolls, pizzas, some sherbet. These things right here are fucking delicious. It's like biscuits and gravy, but in a pot pie, I guess you would call it. These things are fucking delicious, and they're only $1. You know, some Hot Pockets. Got some corn dogs. What's this? Oh, breakfast sausage. Some breakfast sausage. Some butterscotch chocolate chips, because those are fucking delicious. Some regular semi-sweet chocolate chips, so those are fucking delicious too. And up here is our bonsai tree. And this is what my grandma's boyfriend got for marching in the Veterans Day Parade. That was 2016. So I got that hanging from the tree. Got a couple of these. I think this piece is pretty cool. I think this is probably the coolest piece I have. It's an American flag, but with a cross. And I just got that hanging from the bonsai tree. You know, the bonsai tree belonged to my great grandmother. So I'm lucky that I can have a piece of her history, you know, in my new beginning, you know. So and I don't subscribe to any particular religion. You know, I got Buddhas, I got giraffes, I got crosses, you know. I kind of want to get some stuff from Islam. I really like Islam, the teachings of Islam. But on the other hand, you can't. If you do go Muslim, you have to stop jacking off, which I'm not sure if I could do that. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if I can stop. Let's see what else we got here. And here's to all my my Hebrew friends. Everybody needs one of these. Everybody needs a gold star, you know. So shalom to all my Jewish friends. I don't know a good place to put this. I don't know where a good place to put this would be. So you can put it on the bonsai tree, I guess. So it can coexist with the Christians. Yeah, so the star can coexist with the cross. You know, and I want to get some Muslim jewelry. I want to get some Islamic jewelry as well. You know, because I believe in you know, peace for the Middle East. You know. Frying pan up there, OBX. If anybody knows what OBX stands for, good for you. I have very fond memories of OBX. Over here we have some ProServe Incorporated. You know, purple and gold. Nothing wrong with purple and gold. Go Lakers. You know, got our spices up there. That's me in 2009. You know. Before I started doing drugs, you know. I was a pretty nice kid back then, you know. And I think it's almost time for us to enjoy our pizza. So let's check on this pizza here. Ooh, that looks delicious. Now I don't have an oven mitt, so I'm wondering how I'm gonna get this out of here. I have a towel. let's get this out of here before it burns. Burning down the house. Yeah, let's get this out of here before it burns. Oh, that's just right. That's just the way I like it. That turned out perfectly. Alright, we're gonna turn off the oven. Oven is off. We're gonna let that cool for a few seconds. And while we're waiting, I guess I'll tell you another story. Actually, if you want to listen to some of my music, let's see. This is my band. This is what I came up with for my band name, Loco Fish. Loco Fish. Because you have to swim like a fish, but the fish is loco. It's a loco fish. Is the fish loco? Yes, the fish is local. Yeah, locally caught. Yeah. Okay then. As long as the fish is loco. Sponsored by NASCAR. What's this one? I forgot what this one was.
And I'll be drinking, talking shit, can't nobody stop me. Drinking, talking shit, can't nobody stop me. Drinking, talking shit, can't nobody stop me. Drinking, talking shit, can't nobody stop me.
Yeah, bitch, we on lithium and marijuana, balls to the wall.
Rolling with my Dolce & Gabbana, chugging
non-alcoholic beer till the trigger tears slit my throat. Do some coke, don't you bring your daughters here. I'm a menace, I'm a monster, getting lit at concerts. Train wreck, devil got me Russians eat lasagna. Papa's a bill, your mama trips, y'all better learn some respect. Fuck off of my deck, just take that vibe, get straight to the neck. And I'll be drinking, talking shit, can't nobody stop me. 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 I like that song. And just for the record, I grew up listening to like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and but like I also listen to Eminem, so you have to keep that in mind. It's like, yes, I did listen to Justin Timberlake when I was like 7 years old, but you know, I also found other music as well, like AC/DC, and you know, like music that men listen to, you know, not like 7-year-old girls or 10-year-old girls listen to. And I think that's why I kind of resent Machine Gun Kelly. Is because like I feel like 10-year-old girls, like 6th grade girls, would be like, "Oh my God, I love Machine Gun Kelly," but like everyone else is just like, "Who the fuck is that guy? Fuck that guy." So I mean, if you really enjoy, you know, like if you really want to pick up some 6th graders, you know, listen to MGK, I guess. But, you know, I'd rather listen to Eminem, to be honest with you. OG Aloha. Right here we have Tiwi's Antique Bubble Maker featuring Good Guy Matt and Twin Nick. And the album is called Mars Graveyard. This is top secret stuff, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody's still watching, you made it through. You passed the test. Because if you don't like watching me eat, and if you don't like hearing me talk, then we're probably not going to be friends, you know. But there's a lot of people that want to listen to me talk and watch me eat. So, I mean, COVID is like really, really shitty. And if you're in quarantine, you know, you need videos like this to keep yourself sane. So, you know, I'm doing you a solid. You know, it might be a little bit boring, might be a little corny, but I'm basically your grandfather, you know, if you think about it, really, because I'm not your boyfriend, I'm not your dad, you know, I'm your grandfather. You generally don't fuck your grandfather, so I suppose, like, in the deep south, like that, maybe you'd fuck your grandfather, but, you know, we live in Michigan, so we don't fuck our grandfathers. Here's another good song. I'm literally just taking out the trash, guys. You know what people pay good money for? To watch me clean up garbage. People love watching me work. You know, I got to turn that into a business. People love everything that I do for some reason. You know, even the people that like make fun of the stuff I do, they're still watching. They're still watching and commenting and doing all that stuff. So, you know, they're still interested in what I have to say. So that's why even if someone makes fun of you, that they're at the end of the day, they're really just a fan, you know. And if they could be in one of these videos, they would love to be in one of these videos. But it's up to my discretion as to who I allow into this safe space. Because that's really what we're creating here. We're creating a safe space for people, you know, who have COVID-19. And anyone with depression or any mental illnesses or suicidal thoughts or anything like that. If my videos can, you know, provide you with a friendship that you need, then I would consider all this worth it. If just one person was, you know, positively influenced by my art. You know, if my artistic expression affects one person positively, you know, I think it'll all be worth it in the end.
Assholes on TV. Fuck you, leave me be. Let me drink in peace.
Cause I don't smoke weed.
And whatever I don't finish today gets thrown away. Undisciplined, what more can I say? Can't remember anyway, but my father stuck around, man. That night, that life, those lies, my reputation. Summer shandy and watermelon, man. As I open my fourth beer, I love gift beers in the mouth all the time. I don't care about your politics. We shouldn't demonize alcohol, cause I ain't gonna have none. Too lazy, too cheap. Just rock to the beat. I feel just fine. Hold your liquor, don't throw up. Another beer, another can, bust a fat nut. Wait around till 5. But don't drink and drive. Damn, that's a good song. Can't remember what it's called. Fragile goes on flex as I hesitate to swallow. Wake up, still spinning, can't sleep as I count another sheep. I'm an adult. I can do what I want. I ain't hurting nobody. Look at me, I showed up. Cause I can burp without throwing up. Straight pig, our son. Just having fun. Swallow easy, don't throw up. Feel a shiver as it goes up. Little sister is a groupie. Cruise around in my hoopty. But only on the racetrack. Don't drunk drive, shit's whack. In the morning feel small. Clothes smell like alcohol.
relapse to the beat. You make this one neat.
This is the song that will never end. All your time and your money spent
on getting high, getting drunk and such, but it don't mean much. That's one of my favorite songs that I've made. I think that's one of my favorite songs ever. I literally, when I made that song, I took, I wrote down every single thought that came to my head during my relapse, and then I rapped it to a beat. So I mean, if that's not genuinely authentic, I don't know what is. You know, and that's just scratching the surface, like, and that's with very little formal training. You know, I can thank my English teachers for, you know, putting me on the right track as far as writing goes. You know, I think my writing is on point. Musically, I could be more educated on music. And that's something I'd like to do in the future is, you know, learn how to play acoustic guitar or learn how to play the piano or both. You know, maybe I can do both. So that song was called Good Guy Tyler. Elvis Just Wants to Party. You know, they say Elvis died on the can, but, you know, is that really true? Did he really die on the can? You know, what a shitty way to go. It's like, God damn it, I'm so constipated, and then he just dies. Like, but you know, that's what happens when you take pills and eat peanut butter sandwiches with bacon on them. And that's what Elvis did. He ate a shitload of junk food. You know, probably drinking every night. But you know, Elvis was always capable of getting a blowjob. So, even in '77, he could walk up to any chick and just drop his pants, and he'd be like, "Oh my God, it's Elvis." You know, Elvis is all like fat and like dying of constipation and stuff. Like, and he could still get a blowjob from any girl he wanted to. That's how talented Elvis was. You know, like even at his lowest, he's still a ladies' man. You know. You know, and Elvis actually is my brother. Elvis happens to be a brother in the bond, so that's an important thing to note. That's an important thing to note because, you know, Elvis, Willie Nelson, Aaron Rodgers, Terry Bradshaw, you know, there's you know, I made a decision 10 years ago to better myself, and I think that's finally paying off now. The place where I went wrong as far as college went was dropping ecstasy, or what I thought was ecstasy. It turned out it was actually crystal meth. So my first hit of Molly at Dead Mouse. I remember we went to Dead Mouse in Detroit, and I took my first hit of Molly, and it wasn't Molly, it was crystal meth. Like, because Molly makes you feel good. I just felt wired, you know. And I'd like to think that whoever gave me that pill was doing me a solid. You know, maybe they're like, dude, Tyler can't roll, man. We can't let Tyler roll. We're not going to let Tyler roll, so let's just ice him let's ice them and deal with it later, you know. That's the mentality, I guess. But yeah, I got iced at Dead Mouse. And, you know, I'm still kind of recovering from that. You know, I've been iced, I've been laced, I've been cracked. I've never been smacked, thank God. But you know, I've never been. Actually, there was one time when I'm in college. I don't remember if I was in the fraternity house or if it was in somewhere else, but I don't remember taking my first line of cocaine. I don't recall. I must have been blackout drunk when I did cocaine, because I woke up, like I was basically sleepwalking, you know, for a while, you know, just completely out of it. And I woke up, like I came to my senses went right as somebody was buying a speedboat. They called it a speedboat. And what that is it's cocaine and heroin mixed together. So I did 4 lines of cocaine and heroin mixed together. You know, what somebody would call a speedboat or a speedball, you know. And I woke up while I was doing that, and I came to my senses, and I'm like, what the fuck? What am I doing? I gotta get the fuck out of here. So that scared the shit out of me, that I could get so blackout drunk that people just break out cocaine and like, here you go, man. First one's free. Hope you don't get addicted. You know, so I tried that speedboat, and I can definitely understand why people enjoy that. But yeah, that'll fuck up your life real quick. So but now my drug of choice is marijuana and alcohol. And those two are codependent. Marijuana and alcohol are codependent. And you know, if I tell myself I'm just gonna drink, I'm not gonna smoke, then you know what happens. I get drunk, and then I go buy weed. So it really is a vicious codependency. You know, and then there's the people that say, "Oh, just smoke weed. All you need is weed." You know. Yeah, that's good until you get so much anxiety from smoking so much pot that you either need Klonopin or 10 drinks, you know. And I don't want to get addicted to Klonopin, so I chose to drink when I would get anxious on weed. I counteracted that with alcohol, and yeah, that's definitely a codependency. You know, you can't have one without the other. And if you try to have one without the other, you're going to end up relapsing. So my advice to anybody who's thinking about getting sober, don't listen to the people that say, oh, you can still smoke weed, because you can't. Because when you smoke weed, you're going to need an anti-anxiety medication. And where are you going to turn to? You can't buy Klonopin legally, you know, unless you have a prescription. Unless you have a diagnosed mental illness, you don't qualify for Klonopin. So you're gonna have to get your anti-anxiety meds off the street, and that's gonna cost a shitload, and you don't really know what's in it. That's the thing that's the thing stoners don't really talk about, is like all the anxiety and paranoia associated with getting high. And once you find a plateau that's comfortable, like let's say Klonopin is your plateau. It doesn't, I can smoke as much as I want, but once I hit that Klonopin, then I'm zonked out. So I don't recommend smoking weed as a substitute for drinking alcohol, because honestly your life is just going to be worse either way, and the only path to true enlightenment is through total abstinence. So that being said, I do take psychiatric medication, psychotropic medication for several mental disorders and an eating disorder. And if I could find a way to not be on medication, which doesn't really seem like it's a good idea to stop taking any of that stuff. You need the antipsychotic. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to have that antidepressant. If you genuinely can't concentrate and you're eating too much, 10 milligrams of Vyvanse probably won't hurt you. But don't get it from the street. Don't get it from a street dealer. Go see a doctor. Get a diagnosis. And once you get a diagnosis, you can even apply for disability. It might take a year to get a hearing, but if you can get $1,100 a month, that's enough to pay for an apartment. That's enough to pay your car insurance. It's enough to put gas in your car, to put food on your table. Obviously, if you find yourself in a position where you can't work because you're just like tripping balls all the time from either tweaking or tripping, and you're just rolling balls all the time, I would really recommend looking into getting treatment if you're one of those people. And treatment is not, and I wouldn't recommend smoking marijuana to alleviate your addictions, because marijuana opens the door for LSD, and you can have a really good time on LSD, or you can have a really bad time on LSD. And if you're already having a bad day, and someone laces your shit, honestly, that can make someone suicidal, and that's seriously not cool. So to give someone psychedelics without their consent, that's going to make them freak the fuck out. That's going to give them a bad trip. And whoever sold that to them can be held liable legally. And that's like felonies, jail time. If you sell acid to someone and they end up in the hospital, like you're going to have the police up your ass. So that's really not a good idea to microdose people without their consent. That's seriously not a good idea. Especially just because karma, like if you lace someone or you crack somebody, you put a little piece of crack in their weed, or you put bath salts in their weed. Somebody that really likes weed, somebody that's like all about weed, and like they trust other people that smoke weed. But unless you know who your captain is, you might have a bad time. So I like to think of myself as a pretty good pilot. I'll fly you to safety. That's what I do. So if anybody's still watching this, let's see. How about faster, stronger, smarter?
I got money to eat, but I got money for weed. I got money to drink myself to sleep.
It's like a fucking disease. Falling down on my knees with a middle finger to the sky. So I ain't got nothing to hide. So I'm gonna keep getting high, 'cause I believe in the lie. It's the American dream. I love that beat. The beat's dope.
Yeah, I was looking at this this case of Budweiser, and
Inspired by Hatebreed.
it said collect all 4 holiday cans.
Gotta get you some
I
Hatebreed.
thought to myself, fuck that. I ain't collecting shit. I'm gonna drink them, then I'm gonna take them back, get some money, and then I'm gonna buy some more beer. That's what the fuck I'm gonna do. I'm not collecting shit. They can suck my asshole if they think I'm gonna collect 4 different cans. Fuck that. God damn it.
And holy mustard and bologna, mustard and bologna. I don't know. I wrote that when I was drunk. Well, I didn't write it, I composed it. That's just, you know, it doesn't matter if you have the technical skill to make music. As long as you're drunk and high enough, like, you can compete with any music that's ever been made. Strictly because of the authenticity. That's not a word, is it? The authentic, just because it's authentic, you know. Because you were drunk when you made that song, so that's authentic. Those are authentic emotions. Those are authentic lyrics, you know. And as long as you're authentic and you're telling the truth, you know, I think that'll resonate with people, and people will gravitate towards it, you know. Even though the only song I know how to play is Mary Had a Little Lamb on piano. I can play a Me and Mary Had a Little Lamb on piano. That's my favorite piano song of all time, so I can play the first couple bars of Mary Had a Little Lamb, but after that I could play Hot Cross Buns, I guess, too, but Three Blind Mice or whatever it is. But I could play Smoke on the Water on guitar. That was the first song I ever learned how to play on guitar. So it's a combination of Smoke on the Water and Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I like to call it Mary Had a Little Smoke on the Water. Yeah, Mary had a little smoke on the water, you know. That's basically the foundation of my musical talent. Smoke on the Water and Mary Had a Little Lamb. And those are the only songs that I know how to play on guitar and piano. But since it's so authentic, you know, since you can feel it artistically, it makes more of a statement than anything. You come up with the right marketing campaign, the right name, the right album name. You know, you really take your music in a direction that people actually want to listen to. So if anybody's still watching this, if anybody wants to listen to this, you know, keep making music. You know, I'm personally taking a break from music right now. I have my album on SoundCloud. The artist name on SoundCloud is called Mason Bilderberg. MasonBilderberg. Mason Bilderberg. So if you're on SoundCloud and you want to hear my new album, the one I put on SoundCloud, then you know, feel free to comment, you know. I also have a YouTube channel, Tyler Kite Productions. You know, you can find that on Facebook. You can find that on YouTube. I think it's time for some pizza. I forgot that this was like a food thing. This is actually a food thing, so this is a food thing, so I'm gonna let everybody enjoy their meal. Look at that cheese pizza. Guess what I'm gonna do with it? I'm gonna get a bowl. A paper bowl. And I'm gonna fill that bowl. I'm gonna put the camera down for a second. So we're gonna fill this bowl with some marinara sauce. Fresh mushroom. It's Prego fresh mushroom. The greatest sauce ever made. This is the greatest tomato sauce you can get. Better than Italy. You know, and Prego actually means thank you in Italian. I don't know if you ever knew that. And mushrooms just taste delicious. So I like to keep things pretty low key, you know, because you never know who's having a bad day, you know. You never know who's having a bad day out here. So you know, if watching me eat, you know, and listening to me talk makes you feel better, you know, please drop me a comment. You know, give me a like, give me a subscribe to my channel. You know, if you get anything out of these types of videos, you know, feel free to let me know. I'm gonna cut this into 4 pieces. This is a cheese pizza from Aldi. You know what I found was ironic? Not really ironic, but family fairs, Spartan stores, like D&W. D&W is a really nice place to shop. It's quiet. There's not a lot of people. but the prices are outrageously expensive. And you know what? I found out that D&W accepts a bridge card, so you can take your bridge card and go to D&W. And I'm thinking to myself, if you actually need a bridge card and you're shopping at D&W, you know, what's wrong with that picture? You know what I mean? There's something wrong with that picture if you have a bridge card and you're taking it to D&W to get groceries. You know, you should go to Aldi. You know, go to Save a Lot. Go to Walmart, for God's sake. You know. And we're gonna taste test the pizza. And you know what? I'm the kind of guy who's like, my mother raised me to be a really good guy. And she doesn't get enough credit for raising, you know, a good guy. But if these videos help anybody, then just please let me know, because I would appreciate that kind of feedback. You know, if one person watches this and, you know, it helps them, or if this takes your mind off of COVID-19, then, because the world kind of sucks right now. So, you know, if you need someone to eat with, you know, this is just a video of me eating and talking. That's all this video is. It's simple. It's wholesome. You know, it's not really safe for kids because I talk about addiction and I swear and stuff. So I wouldn't let your kids watch these videos. But yeah, I'm going to taste test this pizza real quick. Cheese pizza, fresh mushroom spaghetti sauce. That's pretty fucking delicious right there. And here's what we have to drink. Oh, that hits the spot. That Diet Dew hits the spot. If you've never had Diet Mountain Dew, get it. Try some Diet Dew. You'll be really glad you did. Because I'm here at Liberty Medical, and there's something I want you to know. I got diabetes. 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 Well, if you have diabetes, well, if you have diabetes, well, if you have diabetes, diabetes. Wilford Brimley is my hero. I started eating oatmeal just because of Wilford Brimley. And I don't even like oatmeal that much, but Clint Eastwood, that's another good hero. You know, he's 90 fucking years old, but he's still kicking ass, you know. Although in Gran Torino, do you really think he would have stood? Do you really think he would have stood up to those black guys? You really think Clint Eastwood's capable of standing up to three young black guys? Like I want to see the real version of Gran Torino, where Clint Eastwood just gets the shit knocked out of him, like, and then he gets robbed and like they steal his shoes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, is that fucked up? That's if Clint Eastwood is your grandfather, then I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for saying that, but now Clint Eastwood in his mid-20s, that's a guy you don't want to fuck with. You know, Clint Eastwood in his mid-20s, that's someone you probably shouldn't fuck with. But 90-year-old Clint Eastwood, you could probably break his arm before he could fire a shot. You know, because I mean, it's like, yeah, he's got a gun, but he's 90 fucking years old. Like, just kick the gun out of his hand. Just kick the gun out of his hand, like, and then just like corner him in an alley and like beat the shit out of him. Take his wallet and his shoes, and it's like, welcome to Detroit, you know. No, I'm just kidding. I love Detroit. We might still be in Detroit. You never know. We might still be at Dead Mouse. Are we still at Dead Mouse? I don't know. We could be. I went back to the Fillmore in 2019, and I saw Angels and Airwaves, and that was probably the best concert I've ever seen in my life. Although I saw Weezer in concert. That was actually, you know, Weezer was probably the best concert I've ever been to. I'd have to say Weezer is probably the best concert, hands down, that I've been to, and I had a seat in the third row. You know. Yeah, Rivers is pretty cool. I feel like him is, you know how like Slash works with everybody. You know, everybody wants to work with Slash. I think if Rivers Cuomo got together with Slash and they made like Dead Roses or something, you know, something cool like that, but like, because I mean, if you listen to Slash's 2010 album, he's got literally everybody on there. He's got the guy from Maroon 5 made a song with him. Ozzy Osbourne made a song with him. The guy from Avenged Sevenfold made a song with him. You know, you got Andrew Stockdale, Iggy Pop. Like, there's so many artists on that album. Fergie was on that album. You know, Beautiful Dangerous, that's a really good song. And the thing I like about Slash is that Slash is sober. You know, that's the kind of music that you can appreciate whether you're high or sober. You can appreciate Guns N' Roses when you're high, and you can appreciate it when you're low, you know. So I think I could see like I don't know if Rivers still wants to make that kind of music or not. Maybe he's too busy playing the piano. I don't know, but you know, if he just if he just crunched the fuck out with Slash, you know, just came up with some cool stoner shit, you know, that would. But you know, like, you got guys like Duff McKagan, who saw Kurt Cobain before he committed suicide. You know, Duff McKagan seems like a pretty cool guy. You know, he's sober too. I think that's why I gravitate towards Guns N' Roses, because especially because Velvet Revolver. Velvet Revolver was the first band since the Backstreet Boys that I really, you know, enjoyed listening to. and that was all sobriety-based music, you know, but it also kicked ass, like. So I think if we could get, you know, a Weezer song that's like sober, because you listen to Say It Ain't So, it's like, this bottle of Stevens awakens ancient demons, you know. It's like, you cleaned up, found Jesus, things are going oh so I hear, you know. And just like that's just that line in particular, you know, if he could turn that around and make like a sober, I'm not sure he would want to do that. Maybe I don't think he wants to be sober, because maybe that would be bad for business. I don't know. But like, he's weird enough where he could probably figure something out. Like, he could find the genesis of Guns N' Roses and Weezer, you know. I'm still personally looking for the intersection of Guns N' Roses and Weezer. You know, so if he could literally find where those two things intersect. You know, they have a new song on their album called Dead Roses. That made me think of a collaboration that they could do with Slash and Duff McKagan. I would get both of those guys on there. And, you know, maybe they just run in different circles, I don't know. But if that's even possible at all, you know, I think that would be really cool. If Weezer makes a recovery song, I think that would be cool. I'm not sure if that's their style or not, but I think if they've literally tried everything else, you know, a Weezer recovery album would be the shit, I think. You know, sober Weezer, that's a Weezer you can get behind, you know. I don't know if they would consider that selling out or not, because they wrote a song called Hash Pipe, you know. They wrote that song called Hash Pipe in the Green Album, and it's like, okay, I get it. Weed is cool, I guess, but, you know, some people don't want to be that high. But I mean, that's just kind of how California is. Like, it's just a given. Everybody assumes that everybody smokes, you know. So if you can learn how to be sober in California, you know, I think that would. If you could figure out how to be sober in California. Cause I'm sober in California, making my life sober in California, and I'll be sober in California, getting sober in California. I mean, if you can get sober in California, you can get sober anywhere, because there's lots of rehabs and lots of rehab centers in California. And I'm not saying like a holistic weed driven thing is such a bad thing, but if you go on weed benders for like if you smoke weed for 16 hours and you don't take a break, like you just keep getting high and high and high and high, that's a problem. And that's what I was. I would literally get high for 16 hours and just watch YouTube you know. That's all I did. I wouldn't take a shower, I wouldn't brush my teeth, I wouldn't throw my trash away, I'd just let the trash pile up. You know, all I wanted to do was just smoke more weed and get as high as I possibly could, you know. And then obviously, I also have a mental illness that's triggered by, heavy cannabis use. I mean, if you're somebody that goes to a party and drinks 12 beers and you have two or three hits of weed at a party once a week, you're probably not a marijuana addict. But in my particular case, I would smoke from the moment I woke up. They call that wake and bake. From the moment I woke up to the moment I would pass out. And the weed kind of acted like a stimulant. Because I would buy really strong weed. Like purple stuff, like weed that's not green. They actually have weed that's purple, dark excuse me, dark purple in color. I mean, you can get some good purple, but I mean, what was it called? Purple People Eater or something. What was that strain of weed called? Purple People Eater. The first time I smoked Purple People Eater, I saw a fucking spider crawl on the screen of my computer, and it was a little black spider. It wasn't anything scary, but I was like, holy shit, I'm hallucinating on weed, and if you are somebody that has a mental illness like that, you just can't you can't smoke weed. It's just not an option, because like you're never gonna achieve that plateau that you want. But if you're sober, it's a lot easier to get to a place that's safe. And if you have to be by yourself for a few months, that's fine. A lot of people jump into relationships that they're not ready for. They'll have really fast friendships, and those friendships usually don't work out. 2 years later, you never talk to that guy again. But if you're somebody, if in a perfect world, I guess, if we didn't have to pay bills, if we could just live in apartments for free, and we didn't have to pay for food, we didn't have to pay for anything, we didn't have to pay for electricity, and the only thing to do, and if we had that social structure there, where we could just literally go on weed benders for days upon days, and in a perfect world like that, if that world actually existed, we wouldn't accomplish anything, There would be so much conflict in a world like that. There would be so much conflict because everybody wants the same piece of the pie, and people aren't willing to share. So, I mean, if you could literally sit around and get high all day, would you really want to do that for the rest of your life? I wouldn't. I think that's a waste of my fucking time. Honestly, that's just a waste of fucking time, man. Like, you're not doing anything, you're not accomplishing anything. You don't have a job. You haven't brushed your teeth in 3 days. You haven't taken a shower in 7 days. There's trash everywhere. You know, do you really want to be that 31-year-old guy that's living their life like that and can't get your shit together? You know, I don't want to be that guy, so I actually refuse to be that guy. I'm making a conscious effort to not be that guy. You know. And if you smoke, if you spend too much time alone, you know, and then you go from smoking alone to smoking with people, those people that's going to be a brutal awakening, because you don't know the pace. You don't know the pace of the conversations. You know, you don't know. You're just gonna trip out and you're gonna have a terrible time, and that's just gonna make you more isolated and antisocial. So, you know, honestly, I was one of those people that preferred to smoke by themselves. You know, I would prefer to smoke by myself, you know, where I know that I'm safe, where I know that I can control the music, I can control the videos. And if that's one thing we could take away from quarantine, is that isolation is not a good thing. You know, if you look at the prison system, solitary confinement, people in quarantine are basically in solitary confinement. You know, they can't, you know what I mean? Like, so if that's one thing that we could take away from the whole COVID fiasco, I think that would be a good thing. Is that we need to be more social. We need to be more. We need that social interaction from our peers and our friends, and our colleagues, our families, our loved ones. You know, you just have to have that. You can't just be in solitary confinement for the rest of your life, or else you go completely insane. If you ever see guys that get out of the hole, like, those guys are fucked up. You know, solitary is no joke, man. Like, and then try like communicating everything I just said over the past hour and 13 minutes. You know, try to condense that into something. You know, try to explain that to a group of stoners. You know, it's gonna be really hard to explain all that in enough time and have it make enough sense to where people would, you know, ensure your safety. So being antisocial and smoking by yourself, drinking by yourself, that's really bad. If you reach that point, then you need to stop smoking weed and stop drinking alcohol. And a lot of people can't do that by themselves. They need a treatment program to do that. So if you are one of those people that finds himself in situations where you're isolated, you know, and also intoxicated, that's a dangerous place to be. You know, because you need to be around people. You just have to be around people, or else you'll go insane. But you have to do it in a healthy way, and I think the healthiest way to socialization is by going to meetings. You know, meeting people in IOP. Obviously, you're not there to make friends, but you're not there to fraternize. You know, obviously, but you do develop a bond with the people that you that you're in treatment with. And those people can either make or break the next year for you. So if you have the right combination of therapists, the right combination of clients, and yeah, I was one of those people that would get philosophical about weed. Be like, man, it's not a drug. It kind of is, you know. It's really difficult to stop. And people are like, oh, I can quit whenever I want. Yeah, but you can start whenever you want to. That's the problem, is that you think it's okay to start again. I'm sure you could stop short term, but you're not going to be able to stop long term. So that the fact that you can't stop is characteristic of an addiction. You know, you might be able to stop for 2 weeks, but then guess what? You're going to pick back up because you haven't learned anything. Some people are like, oh man, I don't give a shit. I just want to get high. And once they reach that point, I mean, until they hit bottom, until the consequences outweigh the reward, I mean, and is weed really that good? You know what I mean? Is it seriously that good? Like, it's not that good. Like, it's not as good as you're making it out to be. Everything, no man, I love weed. I'm in love with Mary, yeah. But then I found something. And then I found something that blew my mind. This is someone called, it's called Ram 1, and the song is called Mary. Alright. So, and it is people from Jamaica.
Mama Africa, you dark like, yeah. Dark like, whoa, 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 whoa. Woman, you dark like, yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Woman, you dark like ebony, smooth like silk, sweet like chocolate. That's how your body feel. Woman, you dark like, yeah. You know you dark like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The other day, me say me go fi meet Mary. It's been a while, so it was kinda scary. Me take one look and say, come close, me baby. Make a full joy your presence tonight. You made me smile, oh, you made me paranoid. Help me to unwind till you stop playing with my mind. Me never meet a one so soft yet slide. I need the Almighty to come help I and I. Do I go or do I stay? Is she for me the right lady? Can I love her moderately? Or must she and I separate? I think
You know, I think that's a good lyric right there. You know, is she really the one for me, or do we need to separate? You know, and those kind of thoughts blew my mind. You have like Jamaican people, you know, Jamaicans of all people, you know, talking about not smoking weed, and that just completely blew my mind. Like, you can be sober and you can be a Christian, and you can still be Jamaican, you know, which just completely blew my mind. You know, I didn't even know I didn't even know I didn't even know Jamaicans were capable of getting sober, but, you know. Yeah, this guy's name is Ram1. The song's called Mary. You know, if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description. But yeah, it's definitely worth listening to. It you know, it strengthens your perspective on marijuana, you know. It's like, 'cause if you think of marijuana, it's like a girl, you know. Marijuana is like your girl, you know. It's who Mary is, you know. People do that with LSD too. They're like, yeah, I love that mysterious woman that keeps turning the lights on and off, keeps turning the volume up and down. So yeah, I'm in love with her, but who is she? That's the question. And that blew my mind. Like, you know, maybe Mary's not the one for me, you know. And for somehow I found Christian reggae music, you know. And like I said, I don't subscribe to any one religion. I guess you could call me polytheistic. I used to be sort of agnostic. But, you know, I think you gotta respect somebody that's talking about this. Like, I didn't hear anybody else that was talking anti-weed, you know. And the fact that they're Jamaican just makes it even cooler, you know. I'm gonna have another slice of pizza. Cheese pizza, mushroom marinara. It's fucking delicious.
Move too fast. That's something put me head on blast. No one feel me mind get lost. So me I feel for me boss. But me go for run, but you always seem to find me. Come like a saying that what I told you for me. Me turn me back, but your love for the behind me. But me want say no, and that's the bottom line. Do I go or do I stay? Is she for me the right lady? Can I love her moderately? Or must she and I separate? Do I go or do I stay? Is she for me the right lady? I could love her moderately, but it's best if we separate. Step me a step, move me a groove, to this reggae beat, yeah. Hit your kick, I have to hit, don't know if you move your feet, yeah. Feeling so high, I have a guy, don't need to burn now weed, yeah. Stamp on the mic, sell it down, I wanna keep us ranking, hey, step.
You know, recovery music is so fucking inspirational. Like, recovery music is fucking inspirational. You know, people are listening to like drug music specifically designed to get you high. I want the opposite of that. I want music that's not gonna get me high. I want music that talks about not getting high, because that's where I'm at, you know. So a song like this, you know, throwing out your stash, throwing away your bowls, throwing away your bong, you know, getting rid of all the paraphernalia that you have in your lighters, especially your lighters. People think, oh, I can keep my lighters, you know, because I can light some candles. I didn't throw my lighters away at first, and every time I would look at those lighters, it would be a trigger for me. So if you really are one of those people that wants to stop smoking weed, like, permanently, I would definitely recommend a treatment program for it. Because I'm going to call you on your own bullshit here. You know, if it is that easy to quit, wouldn't it be a lot easier if you had help? Like, wouldn't it be even easier to stop if you had some support, you know? And some people have the willpower to just stop. Some people can just stop and never do it again. But for me, I needed help. I needed help. You know. For me, it was absolutely addictive. You know, I would go on binges where I just would smoke for 16 hours straight. You know. And people are like, oh, well, you should just smoke in moderation. I can't do that. I can't smoke in moderation. I want as much weed as possible, and I want to feel it for as long as I possibly can. And I learned that kind of behavior from drinking, you know. And there's a codependency with alcohol and weed, whether we want to admit it or not. There's a codependency with marijuana and Klonopin, you know, anti-anxiety medication, even opiates, you know, opioids. You know, if you smoke weed, it's going to make you want pills, you know, whether that's anti-anxiety or opioids, you know. So it's just really, you know, they call it a gateway drug. And honestly, like, that's kind of true. Like, it totally is. It totally does open the door for, like, LSD. And then LSD opens the door for pretty much everything, you know. You know, because THC itself is a mild form of acid. You know, THC is a mild form of acid. So if you literally smoke for 16 hours straight, that's almost similar to having an acid trip. Depending on what you do, where you go, when you're high. And some people don't grasp onto that concept right away. Some people need some help. And at the end of the day, it's a disability. Getting addicted to a drug, the minute you step foot in treatment, that addiction becomes a disability. You know, but when you're out on the streets and you're trying to hold down a job, you know, it can seem impossible to succeed. You know, you're like, man, I want to stop, but I can't. You know, I've tried to stop, but I can't. And my response to that is, you need to ask for help. You need to cry out for help. If you ask for help and no one listens to you, then cry out for help. You know. And, you know, you can still be a Democrat and be sober. You can still believe in socialism and, you know, social equity, social equality. You can still be on the forefront of, you know, the Democratic Party. You don't necessarily have to be a Republican just because you're sober, you know. made a big deal with Trump, and Trump doesn't drink alcohol. So they kind of pigeonholed everybody that doesn't drink alcohol. It's like, oh, well, that's Donald Trump. People that don't drink must be exactly like Donald Trump, you know. It's like, no, you can still be politically active. In fact, you'll be able to contribute more to a conversation if you're not high, you know. You won't, like, let's say you have a high profile business meeting. Do you really want to be stoned for that? Do you really have? Let's say you have a really important meeting for work, and you want to be up for it. You know, what are you gonna do? Take Adderall? Are you just gonna not smoke in the morning and get all hopped up on Adderall and anti-anxiety medication and hope for the best? You know, is that really the way you want to live your life? You know. Because when you smoke weed like I smoke weed, eventually you're gonna need alcohol to calm you down. Because you're gonna get so unbelievably high that you're gonna need a drink or two or three. And then, you know, if you smoke weed and drink and you still have anxiety, and then you think to yourself, okay, well, I'll just get an anti-anxiety medication. That'll solve everything, won't it? So now you've developed a codependency with marijuana and anti-anxiety medication. And that opens the door for painkillers, anti-anxiety medications, one step away from heroin, you know. I personally don't want to be all smacked up on weed 24/7, you know. Like when I smoke weed, I get smacked out. I don't get cracked out. I don't smoke cess, you know. I get smacked the fuck out on weed, you know. And then once you realize, like, is that really the life I want? Like, do I really want to get smacked out on weed for 16 hours? You know, and the answer to that is no. You know, it's not good to be that high for that long, especially if you have an underlying like schizophrenia, bipolar, depression. You know, going on 16-hour binges is just gonna make you feel like shit. And if I could, you know, give you a piece of hippie wisdom, you know, don't take more than you need. You know, there are some pretty intelligent hippies out there. You know, your college hippies, you know. You know, take only what you need. And that's not the way I smoked. You know, some people can smoke in moderation, and they can take only what they need from it. And if that means getting high once a week after they've been drinking, you know, and they never actually go to the store and buy weed, but if it's there, they'll do it, you know. I mean, those people are definitely users, but I don't know if they have developed, you know, the same kind of addiction that somebody who gets high for 16 to 18 hours straight, and then tries to drive a car. Like, it definitely reduces your reaction time. So if you're high on weed and you're texting and driving, you're probably going to hit something eventually. I don't care how good of a driver you are, you're probably going to fuck up eventually. Some people are like, oh yeah, I can drink and drive. I can smoke and drive too. Until you crash your motorcycle, until you crash your car. And then what? Just another broken collarbone, you know, some broken wrists, concussion, you know. I would say this is the song. This song in particular is the one that made me want to stop. I would get high, and I would listen to this song, and I would think to myself, wow, throwing away everything that you own and being done with it permanently. You know, separating from your imaginary girlfriend, who some people call Mary Jane. You know, if that's your imaginary girlfriend, then you got some serious problems. If you take weed that seriously, then you got some serious problems. And for me, I had some serious problems that I needed to work through. But I'm 31 days sober. So I'd like to think it's out of my system by this point. You know, I am a little bit bigger, so it could, you know, stay stored in, you know, the fat deposits in my body. You know, it could still be stored there. And the only way you detox from that is through cardio, exercise, sweating. You know, drinking a lot of water. You know, I don't drink that much water, and I don't get that much exercise, so there's probably still going to be something in my system for at least another few weeks. But I just gotta keep my head up and make sure I correct the thought patterns in my head, because there's behavior patterns and thought patterns, and those are directly responsible for relapsing. You know, if you put yourself in high-risk situations, it's gonna be you're gonna end up relapsing if you do that. So that's why you gotta enforce boundaries. You know, you really have to enforce boundaries, and you have to create that safe space, or else you'll never recover. You'll just keep slipping back into relapse. And some people some people figure it out right away. Like it only took me a few weeks. It took me about 2 weeks of IOP, you know, intensive outpatient rehab. It only took me a couple sessions to realize it's like, okay, I need that safe space, that sober space. You know, I really don't want to do this anymore, you know. It's making my life unmanageable. My life is unmanageable, and I need help to stop. You know, I'm not bathing, I'm not brushing my teeth, I'm letting trash pile up everywhere. There's bugs crawling around on the fucking floor. You know, my apartment is disgusting. And that's just that's the reality of smoking weed, is that you're not gonna shower because you don't give a shit. You're not gonna brush your teeth because you don't give a shit. Because you're too high to give a shit about anything. All you can concentrate on is getting high or getting drunk, you know? That's all you can focus on. You can't focus on anything else. That's how it was for me. And I would get so anxious when I ran out. You know, when I ran out of weed, I would get so anxious. And I would get addicted to buying weed. You know, it was fun for me. It was fun for me to buy weed. Because I could walk into a store, walk into a dispensary, and be like, I want that, I want that, I want that. And give me your nicest bong. I'm gonna buy a bong too. You know. But, you know, like with anything, just you make decisions when you're adult. When you make adult decisions, there's going to be adult consequences to those decisions, and you really have to understand that, because if you don't understand that, you're either going to end up in jail or in a mental hospital, or you're going to end up dead. I'll play the rest of this song.
Yes, move me a groove to this reggae beat, yeah. Kick your kick, I as a it, don't know if you move your feet, yeah. Feel it so high, I as a kite, don't need to burn the weed, yeah. Stamp on the mic, sell it down, all the way, I wanna keep us yanking, hey. We go for run, but you always need to find me. Come like a scent of what I told you upon me. Me turn me back, but your love for the behind me. But I me once say no, and that's the bottom line. Do I go or do I stay? Is she for me the right lady? Can I love her moderately? Or must she and I separate? Me realize that Mary ain't the one for me. Intoxicated by your love, ain't where I wanna be. Adonai is me guiding and this liberty. To him be all the praise for all the wisdom I'll ever need. Me realize that Mary ain't the one for me. Intoxicated by your love, ain't where I wanna be. Adonai is me guiding and this liberty. To him be all the praise for all the wisdom I'll ever need.
You know, that song really resonates with me. You know, because all the wisdom you ever need is accessible through your own mind, you know? You got all the tools at your disposal. All the wisdom that you need comes from within, you know? If you're not familiar with this website, this is called In the Rooms. This is a website that hosts Narcotics Anonymous meetings, AA meetings, pretty much any type of meeting that you think you need, codependency meetings, Gamblers Anonymous, Marijuana Anonymous. That was something I was that's something I gravitated towards. I downloaded the literature from Marijuana Anonymous, and they have meetings here. There's one on this site. It is Mondays at 7 p.m. is your Marijuana Anonymous meeting. I haven't attended one of these in their rooms yet, but Mondays at 7 p.m. they have a Marijuana Anonymous meeting, and it's free. It's free to sign up for. It's you don't have to pay for it. You do have the option to donate if you're able to, and that because you have to pay for bandwidth. But if you can't contribute financially, then that's okay too. Just as long as you attend a meeting. This is life or death for me, anyway. Especially right now during COVID, because they don't have in-person meetings. Or they do have in-person meetings, but they're hard to find, just because due to COVID, But yeah, look, they have literally all day long. They have meetings from 9 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. They have all these kind of meetings. I'm not gonna click on one of these meetings right now, but if you are interested in, at least just getting your feet wet as far as recovery goes, this is the perfect site to do it. They have sex addiction ones. They have Buddhist recovery. I align myself more with, the teachings of Buddha than I do with the teachings of Christ, and that's difficult in a town like this. It's difficult to have a difference of opinion when it comes to spirituality in a town that's as religious as Holland, Michigan. This is a very religious area. It's a very conservative area, and there's a lot of Trump votes here. There's a lot of Bush votes here. Overeaters Anonymous. That's a good one for anybody who's looking to overcome binge eating disorder. And I would hesitate. I know it's fashionable and it's really easy to call people overweight and to criticize people for being overweight and stuff like that. But food is actually a pretty formidable adversary. Especially fast food, junk food, sugary drinks, sugar soda. All that is designed to make you unhealthy. And, something like Overeaters Anonymous is a good place to start. If you feel like you want to overcome your food addiction, which is, I've seen it, I've seen it in myself, I've seen it in other people. Food addiction is really nasty. Sex addiction is really a bad one. You know, people that watch too much pornography. And there's this, in the rooms, this is a very safe place. And you don't have to share if you don't want to share. You can mute your mic. You can cover your camera and just listen. Sometimes it's okay to just listen, you know. It's like, I'm not ready to contribute. I'm just gonna listen today. And that's okay. And I would encourage that person to keep coming back. Yeah, they got a coronavirus support group. Wonder what that's. I might have to check that one out. I haven't seen that one yet. But literally, they have crystal meth anonymous. You know, meth is like the worst, one of the worst drugs you could get addicted to. You know, especially once you start injecting it. You know, it's my heart goes out to the people that are suffering with, you know, something that severe. Because it's like I see spiders crawling on the TV when I'm on marijuana. You know, I can't imagine the hallucinations that you get when you're high on crystal meth. You know. You know, I can't imagine how fucked up that would be. That's why, you know, you can't judge anybody that is addicted to. There's, you know, it's popular among stoners to be like, oh, that guy's a tweaker, that guy's a crackhead, that guy's a basehead. It's like, no, those are just people who have addictions, disabilities, really. Drug addiction is a disability. Alcoholism is a disability. And once you start treatment, you're legally protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act. So once you make an appointment to see a recovery specialist, to see a recovery therapist, you then qualify for disability. And it might take a while to get it. But those are legitimate. Those are legitimate disabilities. And if you are at this point, yeah, I guess they have like yoga recovery. I don't know what that looks like. They have some meetings here I've never heard of. But the big ones like NA and A excuse me, A are here. And they run all day. So if you really need help or you're struggling, you know, this is a great place to start. You know, this is a great place to get your feet wet. You know, if you have a gambling addiction or a sex addiction, or you have codependency, they have meetings for all that. And you can be agnostic in NA. You can be agnostic in AA. You know, you don't necessarily have to believe in anything. You know, I mean, let's take a guy with a Harley that's, you know, shooting up meth or snorting meth or whatever. that person might not believe in that there's a higher power, so that person might just be agnostic until they actually like wake up from their addiction, which could take years. Could take years to get back to normal after you abuse drugs that long. Dual diagnosis, that's a good one. And all you gotta do is just click on the time. You know, wait until the right day. And then, you know, occasionally someone does break through and they'd be like, man, I didn't know anything about like spirituality until I came here. And some people do actually find their higher power. But it's not a requirement that you believe in Jesus. You know, it's not a requirement that, you know, you don't have to necessarily be a Christian to get something out of this. You can be agnostic, you can be atheist, and you can be Buddhist, and they have meetings for, you know, Buddhist people. You know, guided meditations. They'll guide you through a meditation. You know, they'll go over the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path. You know, and that's called Recovery Dharma. There's actually a meeting for that. And once again, it's called In the Rooms, and it's available on Android. It's available on iPhone, and it's available on the computer. And if you're on an old computer and you don't have a microphone and you don't have a webcam, then you can still attend that meeting. You just won't be able to contribute, but you can still listen. And I think for me, early on in my recovery, just hearing people talk in such a way that, you know, listening to the right people talk is pretty beneficial. And like I said, recovery music makes a big difference. If you get sober and you still listen to weed music, you know, that's an example of a high risk situation. And you gotta remove yourself from that kind of thinking. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna. It's like, okay, let's say you listen to Machine Gun Kelly when you're stoned on weed, and you know, if you listen to him sober, you know, do you still really enjoy that, or were you only listening to that because you were high? You know what I mean? Like, the only reason you were listening to weed music was because you're smoking weed. You got to get in where you fit in, and I think that's true. You know, if you're in rehab and you're thinking about rehab, listen to rehab music. You know, listen to, like, there's tons of recovery songs out there. There's lots of recovery music out there. You know, Eminem made a good album. He made 2 good albums, Relapse and Recovery. You know, those are pretty good songs. You know, there's a song called K's Choice by I'm Not an Addict by K's Choice. That's a good one to motivate you. You know, she talks about like not being an addict and how that's a lie. You know, it's not a habit, it's cool. You feel alive. You know. That's a really good song, actually. And there's a meeting called ACA, and that's Adult Children of Alcoholics. That's something I want to attend as well, because I'm an adult child, I'm an alcoholic. And this is a very good cheese pizza. Cheese pizza with some sauce. Some fresh mushroom sauce. And a lot of people say, I don't have the money to pay for treatment. And I think that's the biggest crime of the day, is that how much they charge people without good insurance, you know, to attend IOP. You know, it's criminal. It's criminal, our healthcare system, how much it costs just to get drug treatment. You know. And I think Andrew Yang, if anyone's familiar with Andrew Yang, he was talking about a basic minimum income, which, yes, it is a form of socialism, but I think the inequity is so great that we really do have to close that inequity gap. You know, honestly, if you think about it, we're already paying for people, nonviolent drug offenders. We're giving them a place to sleep. You know, we're giving them 3 meals a day. We're paying a lot of money to keep all these people incarcerated. You know, how much would it cost just to give someone like that an apartment where they're not in jail? You know? And if there was affordable housing in Holland, which there's not, then a lot of people wouldn't have to turn to drugs in the first place. You know, if we did have a basic minimum income, well, let's say it's just $10,000 a year for one person, or $12,000 a year for one person, to pay their rent, to pay their utility bills. What's the cost breakdown of that versus sending that nonviolent drug offender to prison? How much money do we spend in prison, to incarcerate all these people? That, put them together with other criminals, and does jail really solve anything? I mean, yeah, it gets you off the streets, I guess, and now you don't got to worry about bills or anything, but I mean, that basic minimum income, honestly, I think we would be better off if we put nonviolent cannabis users, if we gave them housing. We basically already do that anyway with the prison system. Why can't those people just be free? We can still pay for them to live. Why can't those people just be free to do as they wish? How much does it cost to keep one inmate? Like $12,000 a year? Why don't we just give them $12,000 a year to pay for rent, so they don't have to be in prison for something that really isn't breaking the law in the first place? I'm permanently done with my journey through cannabis, but if there's people out there that haven't reached this point yet, throwing those people in jail at the federal level for sitting around, and I agree they're not contributing, but are they really hurting anybody? Are nonviolent drug offenders really hurting anybody? And I say the answer to that is no, they're not. So why don't we take all the money that we spend in prison, incarcerating people, and give them a basic minimum income? Obviously, it would be regulated through the government. It would basically just be an extension of the Social Security Administration. It's like you retire and you get money from the government. You could essentially retire at age 20 and just live off your basic minimum income. I would love having a basic minimum income, but I'm not 65 years or older, so I can't collect Social Security. The only way you can get a basic minimum income is if you're disabled. If you are legally disabled, a judge finds you disabled. That's the only option for a way out, is through disability and, psychiatric examination and observation and medications and stuff like that. I really don't think it would cost that much to give people affordable housing. I really don't think it's such a crime that people are homeless because they can't afford they can't afford rent. The people that don't have a high school education, and let's say they're working at Little Caesars, and they have children, those people need help, even if you work your ass off 50 hours a week at minimum wage, you'll still barely be able to afford an apartment. At minimum wage, you're barely able to afford an apartment, and that's insane. Like you're working 50 hours a week, and you can barely afford to pay your bills. And some people don't. There's lots of reasons why people don't finish high school. You know, it's not always as easy as you just call that person lazy. You call that person lazy or overweight, and you don't want to acknowledge the fact that they've probably struggled in their life. To not graduate from high school is really debilitating. And the only job you're gonna get without a high school education is food service. So yeah, like something like Andrew Yang was talking about with the basic minimum income for people, it's kind of like giving people a community college scholarship. Let's say if you're over the age of 25, you have a high school degree, but you haven't finished college. It's like, okay, we're gonna pass a bill for $30 million, and we're gonna give you free community college as long as you pass your classes. You can remain on the scholarship. It's a government scholarship, free community college to anyone over 25. Are things like that are going to reduce inequity and give people access to, change their lives financially. If you even with a 2-year degree, you can still get a lot more opportunities with a 2-year degree than you would with a high school diploma. And if you end up doing well at community college, you can apply for scholarships. Let's say you get all A's and B's at a community college that you got to attend for free, because the government did it. And you get really good grades, and you apply for scholarships and financial aid, and you get accepted into these programs, and then you can theoretically attend a 4-year college. I think 4-year college university should also be, the tuition is way too high. You shouldn't have to pay that much to get an education. People in Europe don't pay that much for an education. They get to go to college for free. And yes, the taxes are higher, but rich people are going to be rich regardless of how much taxes they pay. Like that upper 1%, they're going to be all right. It's the bottom 99% that need help. So I think university should be included in a government scholarship as well. And I don't think Biden will do that this term. I was really pulling for Bernie, because that's what he was talking about. Getting rid of student debt, making university free, or at the very least affordable. So that's my goal. I got accepted into the Michigan Reconnect program scholarship, and that'll provide me with free community college until I graduate. You have to maintain 6 credit hours a semester to qualify, and so it shouldn't take too long. If you're going to school 6 credit hours, you take 2 classes a semester, and you're working while you're doing it, and you hold down a part-time job. I'm actually extremely confident in my goals right now. I can see that light at the end of the tunnel. You know, I feel like I found a way out. You know. You know, and I wouldn't have found that had I not picked up the phone while I was drinking and called my sister, called my mother, you know, text all these people saying like, listen, I'm drunk right now. I'm just gonna be perfectly honest with you. It's like, Mom, I'm drunk right now. And I drank and smoked. I drank and smoked in isolation for about 8 months. I didn't tell anybody that I was smoking weed. I didn't tell anybody that I was drinking until one night, I was like, man, I can't do this anymore. I gotta ask for help. Like, this is seriously unmanageable. This is completely unmanageable. Like, what am I doing? You know, I haven't taken a shower in 7 days. I haven't brushed my teeth in 6 days. What the fuck am I doing? There's trash everywhere. My apartment smells like shit. My cat doesn't seem to care, but I know that she wants to live somewhere nicer, you know. You know, people that do drugs and have animals. I don't want my cat to be a drug cat. I don't want my cat to be exposed to that kind of shit. Because she gets affected when I smoke weed. Like, she'll spaz out when I'm high. And that kind of scares me. Because it's like, we're connected, you know? It's like I'm connected to this animal that's freaking the fuck out, you know, because I'm getting high. And yeah, I don't know if that's a form of, you know, animal endangerment, but, you know, you see people that are doing harder drugs than weed, that have dogs and have cats, and you know, the trap house, the apartment building that smells like weed. That's not a place for an animal. That's not conducive to the animal welfare, to the welfare of the animal. You know, if she's constantly exposed to marijuana smoke or anything else, really, you know. You know, if you let trash pile up everywhere and you let bugs crawl over your floor and you don't bathe, you don't brush your teeth, all you want to do is just keep going on this weed bender. And there's really no such thing as moderation when it comes to alcohol and weed, you know. You're either drinking or not drinking. You're either sober or you're smoking weed. You can't have both, you know. You can't be sober and smoke weed at the same time. I mean, you can, but there's going to be that codependency with alcohol that's going to contribute to your relapse. And that's one of your basic schemas, is that, you know, that's your addictive personality. Those are your thought patterns of addiction. Those are your schemas, you know. I got one more piece of pizza. Dip it in the sauce here. The most important step is step number 1. Whether you're in, it doesn't matter what 12-step program you're in. The most important step is step 1. And that's admitting that you have a problem. You know, admitting that your life is unmanageable. And then the next step after that is, you know, your higher power. And I understand some people are agnostic, some people are atheists. I personally align myself with the Buddha. There's my Buddha right there. I got a Buddha draft, you know. I kind of like the concept of a Buddha draft. That brings me peace. That brings peace, and you know, that brings peace to my apartment. Having a happy Buddha in the corner in a draft. Those are peace offerings to whoever lived here before me. You know, Buddhism is all about peace and understanding. You know, that like there's always going to be suffering. You're always going to feel some kind of pain. But there's a reason, there's a cause for it. And it's up to you to determine what that cause is. And suffering can be minimized, even eradicated. And you can do that through conscious contact with meditation and you know, even just basic breathing exercises. You know, those things can help reduce anxiety. You know, regulate your mind, body, and spirit. Exercise is very important. I'm not exercising right now, but I should be. Truth be told, I actually do enjoy working out. I like lifting weights. I like going for walks. You know, but I'm still in that weed mentality where I don't give a shit. The only thing that weed taught me was how to not give a shit. And I think that's why a lot of people like it, because they want to escape. It's like, man, I'm so sick of giving a shit. I just don't want to give a shit anymore. Like, I give too many fucks. I don't want to give a fuck right now. I just want to get high. That was one of the reasons I used. Was just to cope with life. You know, my disability status really bummed me out, you know. The fact that I'll always have to take antipsychotics and antidepressants, you know, I don't want to say all my life, but long term, I'm going to be on this medication for a while. You know, I'm going to be in therapy for a while. And that kind of bummed me out, and that was one of the reasons I used. You know, because I don't want to care right now. I don't want to give a shit right now. I just want to get high, live in my own little fantasy world, and fuck everybody else. Fuck cleaning. Fuck throwing. Fuck taking the trash out. Fuck showers. Fuck toothpaste. You know. Fuck everything. I just want to get high. I just want to go on my weed bender, watch YouTube, and I want to be left the fuck alone. You know? And the fact that I was thinking like that scared the crap out of me. Like, is that really what I'm becoming? Like, it's funny how you can be, you know, stuck up in a 2-bedroom apartment and feel like you're in solitary confinement. You know, I lost 2 jobs. I lost 2 jobs right after another. I got fired twice within a year because I was taking CBD on the job. You know. I got fired for falling asleep on the job. You know, I was overworked. I was overworked. I was working way too much, not getting enough sleep. You know, I physically and mentally could not handle that job anymore. It was too much. I know this has been kind of a long video, but if anybody's still with me, I could see you doing radio. You could be like a radio personality and talk about this kind of shit on the radio. I think some people would listen to it. The right kind of people would listen to it, and they would get in touch with you. So, you know, being honest with ourselves, you know, sticking to the program, working the steps, It's totally conducive to our recovery. You know, attending IOP, you know, actually paying attention and participating and being consciously awake during those sessions too is and contributing to the conversation. You know, those things are important. So the two most important things you can do are do step 1 and then find a sponsor. Getting a sponsor can make the difference between succeeding or relapsing. Like if you develop a relationship with your sponsor, that's going to be an overwhelmingly good thing. Someone to keep you accountable, someone to help you work the steps, but it's got to be somebody who's been in the program, I would say at least 3 years. You want to find somebody older, somebody that's been in these meetings, been at these tables for, you know, years, and still comes all the time, still comes regularly. And I know it's difficult to reach out and ask for help, but you know, I basically see myself as a stock car with no sponsors. So I need a sponsor. I needed a sponsor 7 years ago, and I didn't get one. But now I'm fully awake. It clicked in for me. This is the right thing to do. This is the path I want to choose. And it took a long time to get here. But it only takes a second to relapse, so. So yeah, they have Sexaholics Anonymous too. If you're somebody that is antisocial and lives in isolation and constantly watches pornography, that's very, very unhealthy. That's extremely unhealthy, and I know there's a stigma with pornography, you know. If you're, you know, people think it's committing adultery or that you're some kind of pedophile or something like that. You know, even though you've never, the only thing you watch is the worst thing you've ever seen is like German girl stuff, like feces porn and shit like that. You know, German stuff, you know. You know, German stuff. Everybody knows what that means, so don't watch German porn. I don't recommend that. But even just reducing the frequency of your emissions, you know, cut it down to once a week. If you really truly have to, then find something classier to check off to. You know? You don't want to... You're supporting an industry that exploits young women and women in general. It's basically prostitutes on camera, is how that works. And there's people making a ton of money off of these young women, these young girls, you know, and the girls don't give a shit. They just want money. They want money, or they want coke or whatever. A lot of porn stars do coke. There's a lot of porn stars that are high on coke, because that, I guess, gives you a better erection. You know, it desensitizes your penis, so you can hold your load for like an hour. And then if you're an average sized male and you have an average sized penis and you watch all this pornography and guys having like 10, 13-inch penises, that can make you feel inadequate. And, you know, and then when you do mount the courage to ask to even just flirt with a girl, she's like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend." And then you feel that rejection. That's such a shitty feeling. It's like, because you know you're a good person, and you know you deserve, you know, to be admired. It's like, you know, you deserve love from women, but you're so withdrawn and isolated, and so secretive about, you know, your pornography addiction, that you get so preoccupied with, you know, masturbating, that you lose all desire to even go out there and try. And then when you do try, you get rejected, and that just makes your self-esteem get even lower. But all you have to do is cut back. You know, because when people smoke weed, they want to watch porn. They don't want to watch the news. They don't want to watch educational TV. They want to watch porn. You get high, you watch porn. You know, once you realize how exploited all these girls are, you know, how much money these pimps, these Johns are making, you know, and they don't, I'm sure they don't give a fair percentage to the actor or the actress. You know, it's like $200 a movie, take it or leave it, you know. I'll give you a line, but the first one's free, and then you gotta pay for the next one, you know. So cocaine dealers, pornography, cocaine dealers, you know, pornography producers, it's just not realistic when you have these fantasies of intimacy with, you know, women that you would consider attractive. You're never going to be able to reach that standard where women are going to just going to throw themselves at you because you have a 13-inch penis. Yeah, that's just not, it doesn't work like that. Like, so you feel feelings of inadequacy, feelings of rejection, and that affects your self-esteem. And it's a shame-based relationship. It really is. It's emotionally abusive. The nature of the porn industry is psychologically and emotionally abusive. I don't think there's anything wrong with having sex if both parties consent and they both want it, and they're laughing and having a good time. I don't think there's a problem with that. But if you watch like violent pornography, like rape fantasy porn, and deflowering videos, and there's some fucked up shit on the internet, man. And you get desensitized to it. And every time you see a girl that you might be interested in, you automatically think porn. And when she rejects you, you're gonna be, oh well, I'll just go masturbate. I don't care. But you probably wouldn't get rejected if you didn't check off so much. Because every girl, when they're uncomfortable, they're like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. Which might be true, it might not be true, but your self-confidence takes such a hit when you get rejected. Especially when it's someone you feel like you deserve to be with. It's like, I'm a good person, I deserve a good woman, If anybody's made it this far, congratulations. I'm almost done with my pizza. This was really just going to be a 10-minute video where I ate some pizza and drank some Diet Mountain Dew and talk about, simple things. But if anybody finds conversations like this helpful, if anybody gets anything out of what I'm doing right now, then please let me know, because silence is the worst thing in the world. This cheese pizza was from Aldi. If you are on food stamps, and if you are barely making ends meet, I would suggest getting a box of food from Community Action House or Salvation Army. You know, if you literally don't have enough money for food, you know, there's resources out there that can help you. But if you are on food stamps and you are going to Community Action House to get food, don't be that guy that smokes weed. It's like you don't have money for food, but you're smoking weed. You have money for weed. You have money for beer. You have enough money to drink yourself to sleep, but you can't afford food. That's why I wrote that song. You know, I ain't got money to eat, but I got money for weed. I got money to drink myself to sleep. It's like a fucking disease. You know, honestly, I say I want other people to benefit from this. I'm benefiting from this. You know, I benefit greatly from this. So, and if somebody else watches this and connects with me, then that'll be great. It's Diet Mountain Dew. You know, LeBron James just signed to Pepsi. He doesn't work for Coca-Cola anymore. Now he works for Pepsi. So I think instead of Sprite, people are going to start choosing Mountain Dew because of LeBron. You know, that's how good LeBron is. He can make you switch beverage companies. Like, man, I'm not going to drink Sprite anymore. I'm drinking Sierra Mist. It's like, hell yeah, LeBron. That's what I'm talking about. I'm a big Lakers fan. I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan. You know, Magic Johnson fan. Michigan State fan. You know, I'd have to say the Lakers are the favorite to repeat. And, you know, I'd like to see LeBron get a couple more rings. Just so he can at least be in the same company. He can be in the same conversation as Kobe Bryant, who had 5 rings. You know, Michael Jordan, who had 6 rings. You know, he's got 4 rings. Or does he have 3 rings? No, he's got 4 rings. 1 in Cleveland and 1 in LA. 2 in Miami. Yeah, 4 rings. So I'd like to see him at least get 5. And if he can get more than that, especially if he can make MVP this year, you know, that's a sports figure that you can respectfully get behind and be like, you know what, I work a minimum wage job, but I'm the LeBron James of being a cashier. You know, I'm the greatest cashier in the whole fucking world. You know. We got about 8.5 minutes left of this 3-hour session. You know, this was good. This is a 3-hour session. If anybody's made it this far, congratulations. I'm done with my pizza. So it's actually time for me to take my medication. You know, one of the most difficult things about getting off of weed is sleep hygiene. You know, regulating your sleep naturally. After your first month of not smoking weed, you're not going to be able to sleep very well, and that's why a lot of people fall back into it. It's like, man, I need this in order to sleep. Like, you don't understand. Like, I need weed to sleep. I can't sleep without weed. And I can't pass out without alcohol, you know? And I need Klonopin because I'm so anxious. And I need Vyvanse because I can't concentrate. You know, all these different things. All these different addictions occurring at the same time. You know, co-occurring addictions. So we got about 5 minutes left in this session. This has been a good session, I feel like. The pizza was good. You know, I'm not sure what everyone else ate, but my meal tasted pretty good. You know, cheese pizza, some marinara sauce. You know, if anybody finds this helpful or beneficial to you, I'm doing this all for free, and just out of the kindness and generosity of my heart. You know, I say that phrase a lot. Like, you know, I say that a lot, and but that's neither here nor there. So I take a combination of 20 milligrams of melatonin, and the melatonin I get looks like this. I got this at Walgreens. You know, it's 240 tablets. I guess it's cherry flavored. Gotique. 10 milligrams for each one. So I take 2 of these 45 minutes before I get ready for bed. Benadryl helps. You gotta be careful with Benadryl because it has a potential to, if you take too much Benadryl, it's not a good thing. But I take 2 Benadryls, 2 melatonins. I have an antipsychotic that helps calm me down and put me to sleep. And I also have some anti-anxiety medication that's a stronger antihistamine, which will also put you to sleep as well. So, and I don't plan on using these supplements and these allergy medications for too much longer. It was important to get enough sleep, though. I know it's hard to fall asleep without marijuana, and I don't know if this is like boring the crap out of you, but if you do feel bored, then you're welcome, because now you can get some sleep. We got about an hour and 40 seconds. Got about a minute and 40 seconds left. I guess I don't really have anything to add to the conversation. You know, if you do feel like you have a mental illness, get a psychiatric exam. You know, if you feel like you need to stay in the mental hospital for a couple of nights. If you feel like you need an antipsychotic, you know, don't hesitate to ask a doctor, because that's the only way that you're going to get over it. If you're struggling with depression, and if somebody's put into your mind that antidepressants are bad, that they'll make you go crazy or do bad things, that's not true. You know, I take an antidepressant and I feel great. I feel fantastic. So I take citalopram, which is Celexa, and I take 20 milligrams of that every day. And honestly, I feel great. So I'd feel even better if I watched what I eat and worked out a little bit. But I guess we have 8 seconds left, so I guess I will talk to you when I talk to you.